So I get I've been talking to you guys for quite a while now, and you really don't know too much about me. So today we're going to dive into who exactly is John of Jadeb's Arts. I was born 1983 in June, and I always liked to draw stuff. I was not a great student. I tended to spend more time doodling in the margins of a notebook than actually taking notes. And I used to carry around notebooks that had lots and lots and lots of Star Wars pictures. I was obsessed with drawing every technical aspect of the Sandcrawler and a lightsaber and a Star Destroyer and the Death Star. It was all just those small, minute details were my favorite thing growing up. So a lot of the work that I produce, if you look really close, I get really anal retentive is the best way to describe it with the detail in my paintings. Because if I don't like something, I keep working on it until it is where I need it to be, where I want it to be, where I imagine it to be. So, I mean, that's just a small dive on why I art the way I do. But there's more. I'm also a father of two and a husband of one. Only been married one time. Not a lot of guys say that apparently nowadays, but I lucked out and found the love of my life. Been happy for the last almost 13 years now. We've been married for almost 10, but we've been together for, no, it is 13 years now. She is my muse. She supports every aspect of my business, every aspect of any business I've been involved in. This is the first time we're actually taking the reins and trying to run a business ourselves out of necessity. We actually fell into doing this full time when COVID hit and me and my wife both lost our jobs. I was a clerk at a local convenience store that shall remain nameless, Wawa, but I was terminated on policies needing to be made. I got to be the example. Enough of that for now. My wife, however, she worked in the ER. She was one of the emergency care techs that was going around doing tests, taking care of the patients that were sick. She spent many nights working in the COVID wards, and from that she contracted a pretty bad strain of COVID, which knocked her out of work, and now has had her on the disabled list for almost 3 years. She can't get disability through the state. They're giving her a hard time because of her age, but her doctor won't even clear her to walk from the parking lot of a store into the store to shop, let alone go back to work because of the way her body now reacts with her post-COVID symptoms. So I started off painting glassware. I just like doing fun little characters, make you your favorite drinking cup. That was my platform to sell on. I made your new favorite cup. But, I mean, there's not a lot of money in it. And moving into trying to support my family on my art, I dove into working on canvases, which I found to be kind of refreshing because you don't have to deal with the curve of your canvas unless you're doing something really weird. I still do some glassware, I do some 3D stuff, but I really like my flat surfaces now. It's been a lot of fun diving into color theory and learning how to actually work my craft. But with me doing that, Mrs. Dubs leaving the medical field, she really felt lost. So one night, I decided that I needed to step away from my work and invest some time in my relationship with my wife. I proposed a date night where I set up a table in the studio, which was our one-car garage, still is, by the way, and I set up some pour paints and some canvases, and I just said, let's have a little indoors, because she couldn't go out. She was very avoid people because of the germs. So I said, let's have a nice date in just you and me. And we started doing pour art. Not my favorite thing to do. I do like the marbling effects on the paints for backgrounds, as you've seen with some of my stuff like the frog, but she really took to it. She found a way to take her emotions and visualize them. And that's how she fell into the pour art portion of Jadeb's Arts, you know? And I know I'm supposed to be telling you about just me, but she's a big part of who I am. I have taken leaps and bounds as a human being. taking care of her, her taking care of me, and all the things we have done, the people we've met. We have traveled all over the country just to meet some of our followers that we have become very friendly with, and we've kind of got a nice little online family that we just kind of support each other. Musicians, artists, other crafters, just people that are great conversationalists we like to hang out with. You know, they don't have to have a business per se. We just like to get involved in communities. As for who am I? I'm a slacker from New Jersey. I wasn't an A student. I was a D student. But I also had an upbringing that kind of led me towards a moral compass that most don't have. Like I said, I'm a parent of two, so I try to set a good example for my kids. And I mean, you see the shenanigans I post. My kids are 21 and 17. They know well enough not to do the stupid stuff that I do. But I've spent so much time being guarded from my true passions, my true inner weirdness, because I didn't want it to affect my kids negatively. Now that they're older and they can guard themselves, if you will, the freak's out of the cage. I mean, I started making videos just recording a parade. The very first TikTok video, very first social media video I posted was at the Christmas parade, and I set it to Skrillex because that was the popular sound on TikTok at the time. And I had no clue what I was doing. It was an awful video, but then I started painting on camera and interacting with people, and I kind of enjoyed that. I like to entertain, and people are entertained by some of the things I come up with. People are awestruck by some of the things that I've come up with. So, and I know saying it's a journey, it sounds redundant. A lot of creators say it. But I mean, when you think about it, I went from being a high school student to working in a group home for 10 years to working on the Seaside Boardwalk for 3 years and becoming like the scourge of society. I adopted a very toxic culture, and it wasn't very becoming on me. Then I got into working at Wawa, and I kind of got to grind that out. When I worked there, I learned a lot of values. I learned a lot of hard life lessons. One of the things they say there is embrace change, and change is imminent in life. So, you know, I really kind of fell into that one, and it was a really good value to live off of. Is change is imminent, so embrace it when it comes, because you never know. And every video you post, every time you try something new, that's exactly it. That's the journey that we speak of, you know, putting yourself out for an audience to see that didn't ask for that. That takes a lot of guts, takes a lot of courage, and takes a lot of stupidity in some cases for some of the things I've been goaded into doing, you know? So if I guess I had to sum it up, I'm a lovable jackass that makes some really awesome art. I'm a human being that's raising other human beings, and I'm trying to teach everyone how to just, you know, respect each other's boundaries and get along. I'm all about not really ruffling feathers, but at the same time kicking over some cans and starting a fire. So you're going to get a little bit of everything out of me, I think. It's not just going to be, you know, the one thing. I like to diversify my craziness. So some of it's going to be pontificating about incredible ideas, and some of it's going to be dumpster fires. That's me. Welcome to me.